Indian Roadmaster. One complaint and one simple solution. Stay tuned and I'll tell you what my one and only complaint is with my Indian Roadmaster, and I'll tell you what I did to solve the problem. So I've done multiple owner reviews on this motorcycle. I did a 1-year owner review, I did a 2-year owner review, I did a 40,000 mile owner review. And if you go back and watch any of those owner reviews of my Roadmaster, you'll know that I love my Roadmaster. I think it's a fantastic touring bike. In 50 years of riding, I've owned 19 motorcycles, and this one by far is my favorite. But I do have one complaint only, and if you've seen any of my videos, you'll know what the complaint is. My one and only complaint is heat management. I've always complained about the heat management on this motorcycle. Now, I'll see some people comment, well, it's a large air-cooled V-twin. We should expect some heat. And it is a large air-cooled V-twin. And I do expect some heat, particularly sitting at a red light. Now, the newer models have rear cylinder deactivation, which helps with the heat at a red light. Mine doesn't have that, so I expect the heat at a red light. But I don't expect heat running 75 miles an hour down the freeway with all the wind that accompanies that kind of speed. I've owned 6 Harley Davidsons, and the heat management was much better on the Harley Davidsons than I owned. But I've also owned 2 other Indians. And so I was thinking about that one day. Like, I owned 2 vintages. I owned a 14 model and a 15 model. And I don't remember the heat being excessive. Now, I know my Roadmaster's heavier. It's got the full fairing with the navigation, it has a trunk, it has hard saddlebags, lower fairings, all of that adds weight. I thought maybe the motor's just working harder. But one of the things that I just mentioned certainly affects airflow on the motor. That's the lower fairings. I had already put on the heat shield when I bought it. Not long after I had the first summer, somebody said, put the leather heat shield on, that'll help. And there's my leather heat shield. The leather heat shield helps, but it didn't solve the problem of heat at freeway speed. Again, I expected at a red light, but sometimes I'd be running 75 miles an hour and it'd get warm under my right thigh. Other times it'd get warm under both thighs. Now, I know I live in Texas. It gets extremely hot in the summer. A lot of humidity down here on the coast. So it's really an issue June, July, and August. But still, I'm thinking about my vintages because they didn't seem to bother me that bad. And of course, it had a large, extra large windshield as opposed to a batwing fairing, but it was the lower fairings that it didn't have. I thought, I'm gonna take my lower fairings off for the summer and see if that helps. It made a tremendous difference. Now, yes, I get some wind fatigue on my legs without the lower fairings. It rains a lot in Southeast Texas. I get caught in the rain, so my feet are gonna get wet. But removing the lower fairings made a tremendous difference with the airflow. Let me show you my fairings over here. Now, the newer fairings are a little different than mine. Mine open right there. As you see, you can open and close. The newer fairings, they have a cutout here that open and close to give you even more airflow than what mine do. But removing the lower fairings has really made a tremendous difference. So I suspect June, July, August, I'll leave the fairings off. And of course, when the weather gets cool, I'll put them back on. So for me, it was just a simple, easy fix. So if you have one of the older models like mine and the heat's bothering you in the summer, take the lower fairings off. Now, I have noticed on the newest model, well, mine's covered up with the heat shield, this little section of fins is not there, and it looks like the head pipe comes off at a little bit different angle. I suspect they may have done that for heat management as well. I know some of the newer models, I don't hear people complaining about the heat. So one and only complaint, heat management, problem solved. I took my fairings off. It's a fantastic motorcycle. Usually on my reviews, I give it between a 9 and a 9.5 on a scale of 1 to 10 for a touring bike. With the lower fairings off, yeah, it gets a good solid 9.5. Fantastic motorcycle. If you're looking for a great touring bike, I highly recommend the Indian Roadmaster. I hope this video has been helpful, especially if you've been dealing with the heat as I have. Okay, Samantha, what's the message you have for us?
Be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below.